Welcome everybody to BVN at 8, and as always, it's your Sports Guy Clif here giving you the hottest news in sports from the best view coming from the Skybox. Now this week I have a few topics I want to talk about, so let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to stay right in the NFL. Y'all know I'm always going to talk about football. It's my favorite sport. And this playoff picture is about to start rounding out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you two teams that I think are going to be in the conference title games, and I'm going to give you one team to watch out for to come in and possibly shake things up. So starting off in the AFC, we had a flip in the top seed. Now we have the Pittsburgh Steelers there at the top, followed by the New England Patriots. Two teams that we know are always going to be there. But the team you might need to watch out for is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the only reason why I don't think that they're going to make a deep playoff run is because they have Blake Bortles at quarterback. They have all the other pieces of a championship team. Great defense, great wide receivers, and a young, good running back. But Blake Bortles, he just does not get the job done. A lot of people are even saying that Eli Manning could leave the Giants and go over to the Jacksonville Jaguars next year. But for right now, look for the Steelers and the Patriots to head off in that title game. And you know what? I'm going to roll with the Pittsburgh Steelers to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Something about New England just isn't clicking right. I don't know if it's injuries, I don't know if they've gotten too old, or if they don't have quite enough superstars and they can't rely on that flawless system anymore. Look for Ben Roethlisberger and that high-powered offense to make a little noise out there in the AFC. Now moving over to the NFC, you have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings sitting atop the conference. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles just lost their starting quarterback and MVP candidate Carson Wentz. So look for that team to possibly be hampered as they try to make their playoff run. So I'm thinking that the Minnesota Vikings may be the strongest team. Now that wild card position is stocked full of teams that can do anything. You got the Falcons, you got the Panthers, you got the Packers who just got Aaron Rodgers back, and yes, you even have my Dallas Cowboys along with the Seattle Seahawks. But if you ask me, the team that you need to watch out for is the Carolina Panthers. Why? They have Cam Newton, and remember, just a few years ago, they were in the Super Bowl. So look for them to possibly come along and wreak a little havoc, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles taking the hit that they took at quarterback. So you never know what's going on, and we really can't forget about Drew Brees and the Saints either. I don't think they have enough on defense to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. But again, you have a lot of veterans on those teams that's been there and had that success. But I'm going to go ahead out on a limb and say, look out for the Purple People Eaters. That's right, the Minnesota Vikings to represent in the Super Bowl. So you got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Minnesota Vikings in Cliff's prediction for the Super Bowl. I may change that before we actually get there, but that's what I'm going with right now. Now moving on to the NBA. Yes, I do like basketball too. And check it out, we're going to keep it on the lighter side. Remember, the All-Star game is coming up in February. And also remember, the format is changing. They're going to have two captains, and they're going to be able to pick their players from either conference. It's not just going to be dictated by the Western and the Eastern conferences this time. You have to remember, and something else I want to remind you of, All-Star voting starts on December 21st. And you say, Cliff, why are you talking about that? Well, remember, I told you the format is changing. This may be the first year that I actually vote and vote multiple times. Why? Because the two highest vote getters are going to be those captains of the All-Star teams. And I'm going to want to see if this new style and format is actually going to work. We're going to see if the public is going to come out and get those guys on those teams that they want to see. Why? If you ask me, a lot of player movement this summer, a lot of all-stars and a lot of good players moved over to the Western Conference. So somebody said, hey, we have to do something to where we get to see all these guys play in the game that we want to see, and we don't run out of slots per conference roster. So remember, December 21st, via NBA.com, Twitter, and many other mediums on social media, you can vote, and there's actually going to be some days where your vote counts twice. So keep your eye out and make sure you vote this year for the NBA All-Star Game. Now in closing, the last thing I want to talk about is Lavar Ball. Now, I've avoided talking about the Ball family a whole lot, but recent moves have really perplexed me. I just really don't understand them. You know, a lot of people don't like Lavar Ball. He's not everybody's taste. That's fine. You know what? He rubs a lot of people the wrong way, and that's okay. But one thing you can't say is that he's a bad father. But when he starts making decisions that really jeopardize the future of his sons, you have to start asking questions. So he had already took out the youngest brother, LaMelo, took him out of high school and homeschooled him. No big deal. But then he's allowing him to go over and play in Lithuania with older brother LaAngelo, who he took out of UCLA. Now you're going to destroy those guys' amateur statuses. So that means that they can't go back and play college ball. And when it's time for the NBA draft, when it's time for them to get on an NBA team, will that affect the evaluations that these owners and these coaches are going to have on these boys? I hope not. I hope he has not hampered their path to the NBA. Do I think that all of them have enough talent to be in the NBA? Yes, I do. Even LaAngelo. But guess what? Lavar, make sure that you're always making the best decision for those boys, because we want to see the best for them regardless if somebody likes you or don't. But hey, maybe you agree with me on some of these topics and maybe you don't. Either way, respond, leave a comment, say something so I can talk back to you, because I guarantee you I'm always going to give you my view from right here in the Skybox. And this is your Sports Guy Clif signing off until next time. See you later.